Today's episode of The Unwritten Rule is presented by FanDuel. You can get a ton of college football bets over there on FanDuel. Season's obviously getting into the thick of things. We're getting conference championship races settled in. You've got still a pretty wide open Heisman race, even though a couple players have stood out and we're deep into the season. I still think that's kind of open. I was looking at the SEC conference championship game winner odds after this past week of games. Alabama has the highest at plus 120 over on FanDuel. Texas A&M plus 210, Georgia plus 500, and Ole Miss plus 1100, who I don't need as a long shot if they get some help. Obviously they'd need a loss from Texas A&M or Alabama to kind of shake things up. Both of them are 5-0. I think overall I like Alabama at plus 120. They play LSU, Oklahoma, Auburn, and Eastern Illinois to finish the season. I feel like they could probably breeze through that, but it'd be cheeky. I think Ole Miss plus 1100 if you really want to throw a long shot bet. I don't hate it. And then the team we're going to talk about in this show, who beat Missouri on Saturday, Vanderbilt. Right now, Vandy. Still, you can get them plus 220 to make the college football playoff. Their schedule is really easy after this game. I like that bet potential there. So you can get a ton of college football bets over there on FanDuel. If you want to put some other potential winners down, obviously Missouri not a winner on Saturday. We did some cleanup. Kenny, Payton, and I to start the show kind of got Payton's postmortem because he was not on Saturday night after we reacted to the game. So got some postmortem from them. Then we talked to Mizzou men's basketball a good bit in quick hits, so a little bit more on the upside. Kenny also gave the lowdown on the latest recruit for Mizzou football. Tigers got another commit there. Talked about some more football stuff, some hoops, like we said, in quick hits, some AP poll talk, and more college football as well to end the show. So more postmortem. Put your thoughts in the comments. Let us know what you thought or what you're thinking now, kind of 24 hours or a little over 24 hours after Missouri loses to Vanderbilt, what you're thinking of the season, what you think Mizzou's expectations should be going forward. We're going to talk about that plenty in the bye week as well. So let us know. Tap in. We'll get the show running. The Unwritten Rule starts right now.
Marcel, where are you going with that disc? You are not putting that on again. Marcel, okay, if you press that button, you are in very, very big trouble.
Attention. Everybody stop what you're doing. It's time for The Unwritten Rule, a Mizzou sports podcast brought to you by the Believe Network, alongside Payton Haverman and Kenny Van Doren. Here is your host, Jack Knowlton.
Welcome back to The Unwritten Rule presented by FanDuel. Today is Monday, October 27th. It is the three of us, as promised, back. We're going to just do a little bit more post-mortem from Vandy. We're not doing the PFF takeaways from this game, which I think, as you guys both kind of fairly pointed out, goes out the window a little bit when your starting quarterback gets hurt in the third quarter. You're relying on a true freshman, and there were things that Kenny and I talked about that happened at the end of the game, or it happened in the goal line, I guess, and at the end of the game, whatever, throughout the game, that really negated a win here. Payton, I will start with that with you because you were not on to recap it right after it happened. You've had a little bit more time to stew, but where is your head at now with the Vanderbilt game in particular, and where this loss falls upon, and why is it a one Kirby Moore?
I mean, it's really just kind of bitter disappointment more than anything else. It's Missouri did everything they wanted in that game. If you had told me Missouri won the time of possession battle handily, had way more yards than Vanderbilt, kept Pavia I thought looked straight up bad. I don't even think it looked like he was doing nothing. He had a great throw in the second quarter and obviously led a nice drive at the end of the game. But other than that, he really, I didn't think looked great. Not disrespecting Pavia or Vanderbilt. They're a great team. He's a Heisman contender. But I didn't think he had a great game yesterday at all. But to do all that and not come away with a victory is so horribly disappointing. especially when you just consider, obviously, what a win there would have meant. You get to go into the bye week, 7-1, almost certainly a top 10 team. You get to kind of give Zollers an extra week to prepare for a possible game day game. Probably not, but it's just such a disappointment. I hate the narrative that comes out of it that like, oh, Drink keeps losing big games, because I feel like we've gotten spoiled to the point where it's like all we consider big games are these top 10 games. Like we're just not, we're going to pretend that the Cotton Bowl a few years ago was not a big game. We're going to pretend Tennessee a few years ago was not a big game.
Kansas State.
Yeah, Kansas State. I don't want to get into that. Even some games like last year, like I thought Oklahoma was a big game. I thought you could argue Kansas this year still qualifies as a big game, but I don't want to get into the whole Drink's a big game loser narrative now, but I do think a lot of it falls at the feet of the coaching just a bit. And I don't want to pile on the coaching because it is so hard to win when you have just abysmal garbage at kicker. You have your third string QB, and you still really almost find a way to win on the road against a top 10 SEC opponent. I don't know how we're going to fault coaching for that. There is one coach that, like you mentioned, deserves a ton of blame. But I'm not going to pile on Drink for that loss. I really am not. Missed opportunities, sure, but I mean, what are you going to do? They had a drive with Zollers with 6 minutes to go. That was at midfield, and just the weirdest, most bizarre looking fumble happens. They get a Hail Mary that gets caught and in short. That really didn't devastate me as much as it did others.
I'm with you, by the way, on that. I thought the game was lost before. I wasn't really that sad. I wanted them to call it an incompletion, but I was like, it doesn't matter.
I thought it was an incompletion. I almost feel like they would have ruled it an incompletion if he had crossed the plane, because I don't like that. Almost felt like here, just give it to him.
Yeah,
I really don't think there was much of a
good for Kevin Coleman's stats though.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just more disappointed than everything else. I put most of the I do have to. I've been a Kirby Moore defender, but he was not good yesterday. Little too cute on a third down. I remember in the first quarter. I know it was probably a read that Bo Perbula messed up, but I still think you need 3 yards. Why don't you just not get weird on that down? The third down pass play was such a mess. It looked like a weird get Perbula on the move. Maybe it's an RPO. If Norfleet can't chip and release, then he runs it in. That was completely blown up. Had no chance of working. I think that third down call had to be a run all the way. And then the fourth down, we know what happened. They don't get any points out of a first possession of the second half turnover. It was just very disappointing. There's no other way to put it. It's a missed opportunity. I guess technically Missouri's still alive for the playoff, but let's be realistic. True freshman quarterback, I think your best hope is really going 2-2. And even if you make it, let's say somehow you do go 4-0, that is like one of the more remarkable stories in college football this year. But I still think you have no chance of doing anything in the playoff at that point. But it really is just more disappointing than anger or sadness. It's just a bummer that it went down that way. Hate it for Bo Perbula. I am excited to see what Matt Zollers has, though.
It's a 5-star for a reason, Payton, at one point in his recruitment. So, and there's a lot of, hype around it, and you really get to see it. We talked about it, Jack, and how last time he played a full game was September of 2024, and he was in high school then. So it's really, cool to see how much he's, come back, what he's overcome, and it's more fitting that he's taking over for two guys that have suffered pretty brutal leg injuries, just like he did. He's like just kind of stepping into a spot where, he could probably talk to those guys about it because he's been in their shoes just at a younger age. I wanted to look at this just because it came up for me. He did burn his red shirt for this game, or in this game. Then, of course, not going to matter the rest of the way, as with him likely to start the rest of the season. But I was looking at the snap counts, and coming into this game, he was tied with Sam Horn with all-time college snaps, which I found pretty interesting. I know, Sam Horn missed a year because of Tommy John, didn't play as much as probably expected in his freshman year when he was told that he would play in that Vanderbilt game to relieve Brady Cook at some point. But they both had 43 coming into today. Zollers finishes week 9 with 47. So that's 90 all-time of his college career in his freshman year. That's now the most of a Eli Drinkwitz quarterback that came in as a high school recruit. I'm not including Brady Cook in this. I told you guys that already. I think you would have had to pry Brady Cook away from Mizzou after Barry Odom got fired. There was no way that kid was going to pass up on it at that time. And I always kind of just considered him just a commitment for Missouri, even with the coaching change. Tyler Macon was second. He's with 56. And then Gabari Johnson did not record a snap at Missouri. And neither did who am I blanking on? Aiden Glover, who I found out today is playing at the junior college level in Mississippi.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah, might have to give him a call.
I thought about that the other day.
He cannot play for Missouri.
Oh, yeah, I guess he can't.
Because he's recorded stats.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Matt Zollers. I do think there is a very real piece of, Vanderbilt had probably little, if any, tape on him and did little, if any, game planning for him, not probably figuring he was going to play, as neither was he. But I thought what he brought and some of the throws he made against that defense was really impressive. So I think that's the storyline I'm going to choose. I saw a tweet from someone, I think it was Mizzou Chris, so I'll try and give him credit, was like his glass half full take was, you potentially get the quarterback situation solved for the next 30 games if Matt Zollers continues to bring, what he's brought in this Vanderbilt game. I'm looking forward to seeing how he does. I think it's going to be hard. I think, Payton, you're exactly right. It is, I think, pretty unreasonable to expect a 4-0 playoff run with a true freshman quarterback. He's going to play some good defenses. I mean, Texas A&M, God, they flat out eviscerated LSU in that second half to the point where their coach might get fired now. So that's a little bit scary, but I think you're right. But still, yeah, it's an opportunity missed. It made me so mad. I think I brought this up, Kenny. I can't remember, on Saturday when Clark Lee was being interviewed and he just used the words, "That's a good Missouri team." And I did get mad at Clark Lee, but it's just, how many times have we had these games where a team in Vanderbilt's position has pulled this kind of thing out, and it's Shane Beamer or it's Clark Lee or it's Kalen DeBoer being like, that's a good bunch of guys over there. It's just always the bridesmaid situation. And I think you're right too, Payton. Like, it's not I don't think it's like a big game drink. I don't think there's a narrative that should be built there, because I think there are other really big games that Missouri's won. But yeah, it's just frustrating to be a step. I had someone text me, was like, is it really bad to lose to this good Vanderbilt team? I'm like, well, when you're trying to be where this Vanderbilt team is now going to be at the end of the season, having won this game, yes, it is. It's that demoralizing and disappointing. So I guess that's my rant piece. There's not really much organized thought in there, but this defense is damn special. I'm going to enjoy the hell out of that for the rest of the year too. If you guys have any other things.
I think that honestly is something that disappoints me the most about this year, is that defense is so damn good. We're not going to see a group an edge rusher tandem quite like Langdon Kitchen and Nate Johnson anytime soon. I'll tell you what. That's a joke, of course. Damon Wilson and Zion Young are Sunday players, and I hate that Missouri's not going to be able to reward them with a playoff appearance, because those two really are playoff level players, and it sucks that even with the flaws that this Missouri defense has shown, it still goes out and is pretty consistently the best unit on the field, like on either side. I really do believe that they were the best unit on the field on Saturday. It's just they were asked to do so much that, of course, they couldn't deliver every single time.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be it is going to be kind of a bummer to look back on how good of a unit that was, and to have them not be rewarded with some sort of big playoff game or anything like that. does stink. I was thinking about this too. I want to give some more props I did on Saturday to the secondary. I week after week I've been worried about this unit, about getting gashed, and I thought Saturday was maybe one of their better games from some of those guys. Pride had a really good game. A couple of others played well. So props to them. I think that unit's improved a lot more. They've been a lot better than I thought they would be preseason. But Kenny, any final words from you post-mortem of this Vanderbilt game? I think, I don't even know if it's a panic meter anymore for Mizzou, but just because I think that's all gone now. So, it'll be interesting to see where this team heads going forward. I don't know if digesting this loss anymore is going to really help. It's now kind of about, again, can you respond? What do you have from Zollers and etc.?
Payton, when you get to listening to our recap, you'll hear me say this before, but you remember around this time last year when we were saying, if Brady Cook can't play the rest of the year, put Aiden Glover and let him see what you can do. I feel like we were just 1 year early on that, because now you're going to do it with Matt. And I think the whole panic button is gone. I think you're just in a spot where you want to see what this kid can do. He's the prince that's promised. This is the first really massive recruit that you have a lot of expectations for, in the sense of he's kind of shown it already against some of these SEC teams. And I think a lot of people are pretty excited to see that. And I mean, Drinkwitz trusts the guy. I don't know if you guys were watching the broadcast, but when he called it, if Vanderbilt called a timeout before the Hail Mary, he went out there, he just looked like a light bulb went above his head. And, he went over and found Matt. You could hear him yell it on the TV, Matt, come here, went and said something to him. I don't know if it was anything too important or what it was, but I just think there's a good connection there. And I'm pretty just pumped to see what can kind of happen there. That's just from a person who likes to see the younger guys contribute as well. If you want me to just hit on the commitment as well, but go ahead, Jack.
Wait, I have a new NIL merch potential idea. Matt Zollers, Donovan Alubade, potential Mizzou quarterback receiver partnership for the future. Dollars. Pair them together. Donovan, Zollers, dollars.
Did you expect us to just go crazy?
I thought that was pretty good.
Is that what you were thinking about? People on the YouTube were probably
I was like Alubade, Matt Alubade, dollars. Zollers.
Matt Alubade.
Can
get you James in there.
We'll workshop that.
We'll
Jack.
workshop that.
Not everything can be a Brett Norfleet.
The Norfleet that might be my best work ever. Kenny, why else is the future bright for Mizzou?
Another spin on this. Yeah, good spin there. Another Missouri commitment came in right before the game. Ahmad Billings announced his pledge to the Tigers on his 18th birthday. Kind of held that one tight to the vest until he got to announce it, just to celebrate with his family. Just a small little thing, and it was pretty cool that he got to do that. Good connections with Alpo. He officially visited Missouri for homecoming after getting an offer in July, and Alpo coming to see him in May just during evals, and really liked him and just the projectability there. I doubt they're done at cornerback. There's other guys they're looking at, and just good connections in the home state of Alabama, and overlap between the two families. And Malcolm Askew, who's the director of recruiting operations and communications, he's an Auburn product, so another Alabama tie between those two guys. And I mean, there wasn't too many big, offers out there. Billings was supposed to visit Florida after his Missouri visit, ended up not making that, but Jacksonville State, Mercer, were the other two he officially visited. Tulane was also up there as well. But Missouri's still looking at other guys. BYU commit Jackson Gates, CJ Hester, who's a Florida commit, they've kind of reached back out to. And then Nick Hankins showed up again recently. Someone that Mizzou is still kind of in contact with. He's an Illinois commitment. So not done at the position, but it's a good stepping point as they're trying to load up on the secondary in the 2026 class.
Yeah, nice addition there for Mizzou. And the men's basketball team looks good, even if their student section doesn't. Payton and Kenny will have more on that in quick hits. But yeah, there's some more postmortem things from Vandy. Get your thoughts if you have any in the comments. I'd be intrigued. I think you're gonna maybe have some more broader discussions about the future of this team. Sad that we're already kind of looking at that, but I think that is the reality after Vandy. So we'll do that during the bye week. And we'll finish the show off with quick hits.
All All right, quick hits time. Just Peyton and I for this segment. Peyton, for Ken Sports Shorts, we're not going to do regular dozen trivia presented by Barstool this week. We're going to look back at Mizzou's history with College Game Day, since it was a point of conversation. It was a point of conversation this past week leading up to it with the questions that Drinkwitz got in his press conference and then at the teleconference the next day. So, of course, Missouri has been featured in 7 ESPN game days in its history. Of course, number 7 was the loss to Vanderbilt 17-10 in Nashville. I'm going to go down the years, and I just want you to give me the matchups. I don't feel like it would be fair if I just asked you for everything to do with this. I'll give you the year, and then if you need hints as we go, just ask.
right.
So we'll go with 2014.
I
this was okay,
they came in 14?
They did not. So this is going to be all that Missouri was featured in. It won't just be
Okay.
I will tell you if it's road or home. So this is an away game it was in 2014, a road game that Missouri won 21-20.
14. So that was the second year they made the SEC title game. So they were a good team, but they weren't a great team. So I feel like they would have had to have played a really good team. And Missouri won this game, huh?
Yep, 21-20.
Boy, I'd love to know what it feels like to spoil that.
Missouri wasn't ranked during this week.
Was this South Carolina?
It was South Carolina, number 13.
Yeah,
South Carolina.
After the year before, I get that.
So Missouri, this was the 5th college game day of the year. Florida State got 2 games. One of those was in Arlington against Oklahoma State to start the year. And then Florida State got the week before. Missouri won both of those games. The third one of the year, because I don't want to say this was just week 3, because it probably just might have been week 2. It doesn't give you if it's week 0 for the first one. But it was FCS number 1, North Dakota State against Incarnate Word. Do you want to give me the score for that game?
3-0.
It was 58-0.
Great. What an
Thought that
awesome
was
pick.
pretty crazy. Okay, the next one, of course, this is probably an easy one for you. 2010. Last time it was in Columbia.
That'll be Mizzou, Oklahoma. Mizzou took back the opening kickoff back when they had a special teams unit worth of shit. And they beat Oklahoma, number 1 Oklahoma, 2010.
On here it has Oklahoma as number 3. I don't know what
Pretty
rankings.
I think that's wrong. I thought they were number 1. I guess
this is from the NCAA website, and I know I've heard that too because it has number 18 Missouri. I wonder if these are just like the rankings that enter the year.
Maybe end of the year. I don't know because I
not even
feel
that.
like that's wrong.
Because it has number 3 Oklahoma, and then a couple weeks later it says number 14. So I don't necessarily know. I don't really want to waste time trying to figure that out. But 36-27 favor of Missouri. 2008. This game was in. Do you want the location?
I think the location's going to give it away, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. It's a road one. Missouri lost 56-31.
Oh, okay. This isn't what I thought it was. I thought this was going to be Arrowhead for Armageddon at Arrowhead.
Out of state.
So this is probably another Oklahoma game.
No, but you're close.
Oklahoma
time
State?
of year? No. October 18th, if that helps.
Well, and Missouri lost?
Missouri lost 56-31. Number 11 Missouri against number 1.
In 08. Was this team they played ranked?
Number 1.
Number 1. 08. 08. Number 1. This would have had to been conference play.
Yep.
Kansas wasn't number 1. Kansas State wasn't number 1. Obviously, Iowa State wasn't number 1. Oh, it's got to be Texas.
It is Texas. I don't
vaguely remember that.
I was 8 years old. I have no memory.
Well, I mean, like from hearing about it from our time on campus, I didn't watch that game day.
Yeah. Next one. This is number 5 going down the list. Actually, all 3 of these next ones are in 2007. I didn't know this. Wow. So October 13th is the first one. This was a 41-31 loss. Number 6 versus number 11, Missouri.
So this is an Oklahoma game.
This is Oklahoma. This was in Norman.
Is this the Big 12 title game, or is it? We got killed by Oklahoma in Norman.
Yep, by 10. October 13th. I'll give that one to you because the Big 12 game was December 1st in San Antonio. Missouri lost that game as the number 1 team, 38-17.
Kenny, I'll tell you what, we've had some real heartbreakers while we've been fans. I cannot imagine being a fan during that game or during the 2013 SEC title game. I think those both would have broken me as a man and a human being. So what's next? We got Armageddon at Arrowhead, surely, right?
That's the last one, November 24th. It was a week before Big 12 championship. Of course, we know that one ended 36-28, favor of Missouri, number 3 in the nation, against number 2 Kansas at Arrowhead.
For number 1 in the nation, because I think West Virginia was number 1 and they had lost. I think that's how it went.
This is interesting too, just because of course, we have no memory of it. You were 6 years old when this one happened. I was 7. But on November 10th, they went to Williams, Division III school, against Amherst. Imagine doing that today. Just imagine that.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that would never happen again. And you know what? I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be mean to D3 schools. They don't need to go to those. I'm sorry. They don't.
Well, that FCS game ended up being pretty good, right?
I couldn't even tell you the final score of that.
No, I tried to turn it on and it was already over. Okay. Well, we'll get into Tigers in the Wild. I thought this was a fun one. Cody Schrader and Darius Robinson were both on the sidelines for this game against Vanderbilt, the respective teams, the Jaguars and the Cardinals, both on bye this week. It's always fun when you see these guys come back, and shows you, how tight-knit Mizzou's alumni is right now. I think it's been a lot better than years past. And Payton, I've even heard from recruits, like parents, saying that they really like that, seeing the alumni always coming back when they're going on visits and realizing that if their son goes to Missouri, heck, he'll have an opportunity to come back whenever he wants. So very cool to see. I haven't seen this shirt that Cody's wearing, but I've seen the style already that Nike's been making these out for coaches. But I think that's a pretty cool logo for a person that's not a big logo guy. D-Rob not rocking any Mizzou gear, but I did see Niles Gaddy was at this one as well, former Missouri defensive end, played 1 year with the Tigers in 2023.
Yeah, I don't know how you saw that. That would not have been one I knew.
I didn't recognize him on the field, but I'll tell you, because he wasn't wearing gloves. That's how I knew it wasn't him. But no, D-Rob reposted something on his Instagram story, and that's how I found out.
I see. Well, no, it is good to see. People kind of gotta remember, like, if you win, like, Missouri is a very good place about like making good teams feel like immortal. It would be great to get to the point where like some of these teams get lost in the shuffle in a way. But that is kind of how it is. Like, if you're a great player, like, you get really, really treated like royalty. Seeing Cody Schrader and D-Rob, God, man, take me back to 23. That was a very special year. So it's good to see those two still hanging around the program.
I see Truman license plates all around Missouri. I've come across some Lutheran North players that were visiting that don't have offers, and just keep thinking about Cody Schrader in that season, and especially 2022 as well, just where he kind of came from. So what a run that those two guys had last couple of years. What's your Tiger in the Wild, Pete?
My Tiger in the Wild is going to be Kelly Robertson. He is another baseball commit for Carrick Jackson and Co. I can't see his position. I thought it had it on the graphic, but it did not. But Missouri baseball has another commitment. He is from where is he from? Oh my gosh, I totally had this pulled up earlier and forgot. Jack, edit this out. Louisville, thank you. He's a Cardinal fan. No, Jack's going to leave that in and make me look like a fool. He's a middle infielder / outfielder. So basically wherever Carrick wants to put him on the diamond.
Yeah, just another commitment. It's a 2027 class. Keep stacking them. I've come across like one of the staffers is one of the more personnel members. He's always kind of tweeting bad signals. Yeah, it's on the graphic too. It's just you can't really see it. It's really
faded. It is.
Yeah.
I wound up just looking it up.
Yeah, middle infielder, outfielder. So good utility. If you keep stacking recruits and keeping guys interested in Missouri, I think that's a good sign. And it was very hard to compete in the SEC right now. And, Missouri's really, struggling to do so. So always good to, just see another commitment come through and just kind of hope that Missouri baseball is turning a corner if you're following that sport.
Yeah, and we kind of talk about it. They're going to have to be a good developmental program if they are going to turn the corner. I think that's really just the only way at this point.
Continue to pick up JUCO pitchers too, and keep churning those guys out, get them to the draft, and probably put a good image out there as well for guys that are in the portal. This was fun too. We'll talk about the exhibition right now. Payton, you watched it more than I did. You watched the entire thing. I got probably a couple of the last 10, 15 minutes of the game. But Jack's Tire in the Wild royalty in the house from Mizzou Hoops. Caleb Grill sitting courtside. Tim Fuller to his right, the general manager for Mizzou basketball. And Dennis Gates, photos bombing as well, just off to the side. Didn't even notice him at first. But Payton, give us your quick takeaways from the exhibition win over Kansas State.
Takeaways right away. Let's address the elephant in the room. The student section change looks terrible. There are ways to make it look not that terrible, and Mizzou just chose the aesthetically least pleasing way to go about it. I hate the change just in a vacuum because a lot of those courtside seats are going to, I swear, they're just going to be empty during some of these non-cons, and a lot of the midweeks, even in SEC play, I can imagine won't be very filled. That sucks for students. That especially, say what you will about the Antlers, they show up and they are involved in every single game. So I kind of do hate that they're not kind of on top of the basket anymore. But let's move on from that. It's out of our hands. Nothing we can do about that. The good from this game, I thought, really outweighed the bad. Mark Mitchell came out, looked really good at first. He wound up, everyone, I think, heard about it, kind of hurt his wrist or something like that. Dennis said he could have played the second half, but obviously exhibition game didn't need it. Anthony Robinson looked incredible. Stop trying to move him off the ball in your hypothetical lineups. He is an unbelievably good point guard, and he needs to stay on the ball. He did not miss a shot in this game. I believe he probably led the team in scoring. I don't have the numbers in front of me. It's again, exhibition game, so you don't really know how tight the defense is going to be. But I don't think that K-State was, I think both these teams took this pretty seriously. Both looked like they were running their offense. Both, I think, were trying to get a lot of film out of this game. Maybe the two most encouraging things, if you're a Mizzou fan, Sean Phillips, boy, does he look like a big made in a lab for Dennis Gates. Really, really athletic. That's what jumped off the page at me. He looked way more. Again, we were kind of more of a bigger Josh Gray defenders than a lot of people were on this podcast. He did a lot of good things, I thought. But Sean Phillips, watching him and just his coordination and his touch around the basket, it's pretty night and day from what Gray gave you. I thought Phillips had a fantastic game, had a double-double in 20 minutes or so of playtime. So that was really encouraging. Kansas State, not a very tall team, but still. You'd rather see that out of your bigs in that type of matchup than not. The other thing that I think is going to be really, really encouraging for Mizzou fans, Honor Boateng, really easily, just the guy that caught my eye the most. Looked really confident, looked really aggressive, slashed his way to the basket a lot, made a three-pointer in this game, got 3 and 1s. It was ridiculous how confident he was driving to the basket. I've said a number of times, and most metrics kind of seem to agree, I think this is kind of a lower ceiling, higher floor Mizzou team. But Honor Boateng, if he is a guy that can step up and not need to be a star, but just be a difference maker, be a guy you can really trust to come off the bench and give you contributions, I think that is a ceiling raiser for this team. One of the few areas where I can really see the ceiling being raised. Other quick ones, Sebastian Mack was I think he's going to be a guy teams hate to play against. He was pretty pesky defensively, really smart about getting back. in transition. I think that's something Dennis Gates is really going to like. He always seemed to be the guy that was flying down the court when Missouri forced a turnover, and it was an easy bucket. Also liked what I saw defensively. He shot 1 3-pointer, and I hope it's the last one he ever takes. But other than that, I thought he looked good. Jaden Stone, how about this? The real wild card on this team, I thought, really looked. People are going to hate this comparison. He reminded me of Isaiah Mosley, like when he played, just that instant impact offense that kind of came out of nowhere. Really could tell he's just like he's got a lot of weapons in his offensive tool bag. So I'm excited to see what he can bring. That's definitely a guy, maybe a bit Marquez Warwick-like, if you really need to go to the bench and find someone to make a bucket. That might be the guy this year, because he made some really, after a bit of a sluggish start, which I'm not going to blame him for because he didn't get to play at all at West Virginia. We really didn't know what we were going to get out of him here with him coming here. He impressed me. I liked what I saw from Jaden Stone.
Yeah, I was looking at that too. Got into a little bit of foul trouble, but tied for the most points in this game. 16 in 18 minutes. Was tied with Ant with 16, 4 assists, 2 rebounds, and a block and a steal. Kind of just going down the box score as well for those that didn't get to tune in or look at any recaps for this 193 exhibition victory for Missouri. 14-10 for Sean Phillips, 9-2 for Sebastian Mack, 7-2-2 for Javon Porter, who started in this game. And then, as you mentioned, Mark Mitchell with the ice bag over his hand on the bench to end the game, but he did have 5 points in this one as well. And Boateng too, like you're talking about, 15 points, 6 rebounds, and he got to play the national anthem on a saxophone again. So doing it all for Missouri. I thought Tio Barrett, from the times that I got to actually watch the game, I thought he was standing out a little bit more, looked a little bit more improved. Payton, in my opinion.
A nice dunk.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. Like the athleticism, the growth is there. I saw photos at Pro Day. He looks a lot bigger than he was when he first got to Missouri. So he's put on a couple pounds. 7 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists in this one, and 1 steal. I know like you haven't been, too high on just like the usage that he got last season, but what'd you like from T.O.?
Well, he had a great second half. I thought he kind of had a bad first half. There was a weird lineup in there, I will admit. Dennis, I think, did his vintage Dennis, like, let me just see what happens if I throw these 5 players together. There was like I put it on like Mizzou Today's like board. It was like Barrett, Cruz, Porter, Phillips, and Boateng. That's just a weird group. All 5 of them were on, and Kansas State immediately went on a huge run. And so I didn't like what I saw at first. But he had a good second half. Didn't turn it over, I don't believe. He may have turned it over once, actually, now that I think about it. But, I mean, when Ant was out of the game, he ran the offense serviceably. I still think he gets a little bit of tunnel vision with just when he's kind of dribbling around a bit. There was one time where he crashed into the lane, he had Cruz wide open in the weak side corner. I think that's a shot Mizzou wants to get all day, and I don't think he saw him and kind of just dribbled around. That's something I still think Tio Barrett needs to improve, and why I'm still more in favor of Ant being the point guard in almost every instance he's on the floor. But he was better. I thought he had much more of an impact on the game than he would last year, just kind of being the quote unquote beyond the box score guy. Love the putback dunk. That was a great play from him. I thought he was pesky on defense. So he was better in the second half, I thought, for sure. And
Last one.
I do want to, the one thing I want to point out, because you mentioned the fouls with Stone, that's one stat that I think if you're a Mizzou fan, you come out of it really encouraged by. Anthony Robinson, if I'm not mistaken, he had 3 fouls in the game, but he didn't pick up his second foul until there was 6:45 left in the second half. If that's the Ant you're going to get all season, forget all conference. I mean, that could be I'll put the bar this high. That's a player of the year contender. That is how high the ceiling can be on Ant.
Our last one, because I think we probably should address it. Who's at fault for the scuffles near the end of the game?
don't know what happened there. It seemed like CJ Jones for K-State was kind of like John with someone. I don't even remember like how it started because there was something before then to like in the actual game, and I don't remember.
Yeah. Who was it? It was one of the point guards. It wasn't T.O. It wasn't Ant.
No, it was Tio, wasn't it?
No.
Was it Rowe?
It was
wasn't
Aaron Rowe. I think Aaron Rowe got bumped on something and he
Well,
started
somebody
jawing as
walked
well.
into his defense. I don't know.
But yeah, it was a couple
Another
people.
thing we should mention: Aaron Rowe and Nicholas Randall both played. I don't expect them to play actual minutes, but
Yeah, everyone played except for Trent Pierce. He was just held out, right?
yeah, he was. I think Dennis said he would have played if he had to.
Yeah.
But again, why push it in an exhibition? But yeah, I think you got to be pretty encouraged by most of what you saw in this game.
Okay, awesome. Getting into headlines now. Pretty quick one just from you and I, Payton, but the coaches poll came out. This was a little bit interesting. I thought Missouri dropped a good amount in this one, dropping 6 spots from 14 to 20 after week 9, losing to Vanderbilt. And then where did the Tigers end up in the AP poll?
AP poll, Missouri fell to 19. So, I mean, I wasn't overly surprised by 19. I might have had them 18. I didn't think they were going to stay in front of Louisville or Cincinnati or Virginia. I do think Missouri's probably better than those teams, but that's not what these rankings are based on. And I mean, I could be totally wrong. Any of those teams could definitely get Missouri, but I think Missouri could get those teams. AP, they did stay in front of Texas. I don't believe that was the case in the coaches. But it doesn't really matter at this point. I mean, the rankings are honestly completely moot for Missouri. They have to go 4-0 to have a chance. There really isn't a point in looking at it unless they go 4-0.
There's one more AP poll that'll come out before the first college football ranking, so I guess that will matter for 2 days, 1 day, because the first college football ranking is Tuesday, November 4th. So Missouri will know where it stands going into Texas A&M out of its second and final bye week. Final headline coming from Jack. Top 100 men's NCAA basketball players ranked going into 2025 and 2026. 2 Missouri guys landed in this one. Anthony Robinson at 93 and Mark Mitchell at 49.
Yeah, I mean, didn't expect anything else. If Missouri is going to have a very good year, it'll be because those two wound up being true, like bona fide all conference guys. I know Mark Mitchell was one last year, and I think it's interesting because I kind of go back and forth between which of the two I even think is better. Obviously, ESPN is of the opinion Mark Mitchell's better, and I think that has a lot to do with who Mark Mitchell is, or was rather, coming out of high school, going to Duke and everything. I'm not trying to say he's a bad player now. I think he's a great player. Anyone that talks to me about Mizzou basketball will know that. But it is interesting because I'm not sure if I had to pick one player to keep between Mitchell or Ant this year. I could answer Ant. You could answer one way or the other, though.
Yeah, it's a tough one because I think Ant has accomplished a lot more than many probably had expected. I mean, he was seen as like a 3-star by certain outlets, and now he's, he got draft buzz last year that, people were starting to scout him a little bit more. And of course, if, everything plays out this year, it'll be even better. So I think, it's a tough one, but I think it's still a good sign for where Missouri basketball stands when you have one guy that was homegrown and one guy who came back home through the transfer portal. Payton, before you get to your joke, I have one little cleanup. I did mention Lutheran North as where Cody Schrader went to school. It's Lutheran South.
I was going to say, I don't think that's right, but I wasn't for sure.
Lutheran South in Afton, the Afton area, St. Louis.
I also had an editor's note. I wanted to mention that Kelly Robertson, the new baseball commit, spent last season at Mineral Area College, had a very successful season. He hit .417, got on base at a .487 clip, and slugged .673. And he stole 17 bases as well. So,
a couple of connections in mineral area. I got one more just to kind of build off of that one. Nicholas Randall, his old high school coach, is a basketball coach now at Mineral Area. is right. Mineral area. Yeah.
Mineral Area College.
Mineral area. Okay, give us your joke.
Okay, this one comes from our favorite TV series, The Today Show. Kenny, I'm pretty sure I've used this. But why are fish so smart?
I don't know. Tell me.
Why are fish so smart? Because they swim in schools, Kenny. They swim in
I
schools.
don't think you've used that one.
You don't? I feel like I have.
I feel like I would have remembered it.
I don't know.
Okay.
We've been using this for over 2 years at this point, I think.
That sucks. That sucks a lot. I remember when this was just a bit. I don't know why it started, but that's going to do it for this episode of the Unwritten Rule. Did you have something to add?
It's a TV series, The Today Show.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, because I was the one who got upset with it. Well, that's going to do it for today's episode of the Unwritten Rule. We will catch you guys next week. And enjoy the bye week, and only 8 days. There's a timer now on the Mizzou basketball website for when the season officially begins on the road at Howard. So keep watching that one. 8 days from recording right now. By the time you're listening to this, it'll be down to 7. So enjoy the bye week, and we will see you guys next week previewing Texas A&M.